It's day 7 of the Small Step to Break Up with Binging challenge. And today's challenge is going to be all about responding to your urges differently. So we know as binge eaters that we have these urges, we have this desire to eat food. Different times of the day, for different foods, for different reasons, whatever it may be. We just have these urges that come up for us that are fast and furious. Like we have to respond to those by eating because it feels very urgent. It's a sudden craving filled with immense desire for food. Insert whatever food sounds good to you, but it's just this intense craving. It's this urge. And what happens is that we might be driving home from work, we might be sitting on the couch, we may be having our last bite of our meal, and we suddenly start to have thoughts like, I want more, I want something sweet, that sounds good. Whatever the thoughts are that are creating this desire, this urge, an urgency to go and eat. And we're very reactive to that feeling, very impulsive. The second we feel a craving, the second we feel that urge, we get up and we go and eat. We're like looking in the pantry, or we're scouring in the fridge, or we're driving through somewhere to go and eat. And a lot of us think that that's the answer, that the only way to get rid of the urge or the craving is to eat. That's not true. You don't have to respond to a craving. You don't have to respond to an urge. What if it's normal to have an urge? I want you to embrace this idea. What if it's normal to have a craving or an urge? But the abnormal part is the response to that. And when I say abnormal, not that there's something wrong with you or disordered, but we have created a behavior, a habit for ourselves in responding to a craving by binge eating, by over consuming. And that's the part that we need to rework. You don't need to rework the urge part, the craving part, because that's normal. It's normal for you to have cravings. It's normal for you to say, I want more, or to drive by somewhere and go, ooh, I want an ice cream. Those thoughts are normal to have. How you respond to those thoughts is the work that we need to do and start to normalize so that you have a different habit, a different reaction to your cravings. Because the goal is for you to have a craving or have an urge and to be with it, to not react to it, to not panic over it, to not want to fix it because it's nothing that needs to be fixed. Again, it's normal to have an urge and you don't have to give it attention, give it any of your time or your energy, or react to it by eating. That's like mind-blowing information. I want you to really sit with that because maybe you haven't considered that. And so this challenge for day 7 is when you have an urge, when you have a craving, which you're going to have. Why? Because you're a human, not because something is wrong with you or you and yourself are abnormal. You're just a human who has cravings, who has urges to eat food. And your goal ongoing is, instead of responding to that urge by being reactive and eating, you're going to be proactive and not eat. Not eat. If you took my Breakup with Binging masterclass that I hosted here inside of our community, I spoke about how to stop binge eating using a tool called the Urge Tally Sheet. If you haven't watched that masterclass, I strongly suggest that you do. Go and take notes. It's life-changing information. We're going to bring back that sheet for this challenge, where the idea is anytime you have an urge in the day, instead of eating, you're going to take that page and you're going to mark off a tally on your sheet that you experienced the urge, you experienced the feeling of craving food and didn't eat. You just sat with that feeling. You were with that feeling. Here's the thing. We in that moment can't stop thinking about peanut butter, can't stop thinking about cookies, like, oh my God, I have to eat or I'm going to die. It's all emotional and mental drama that's going on. It feels terrible and like we're gonna die, but physically you're not. Like, you're not in any type of pain. Nobody's punching you in the face. Nobody's cutting off your limbs. You're having thoughts about food that are creating cravings, and it's fine. You're not gonna die from experiencing the emotion of desire, the emotion of urgency, craving. Like, that's not going to kill you. You can feel that feeling, allow that vibration to exist in your body, in your chest, on your back, in your head, in your tummy, wherever it is for you. And you can embrace it. You can open up to it and be with it, knowing that it's temporary, knowing that it's going to pass. And you don't need to be impulsive to that feeling. Interesting, right? So your challenge is the next time you have an urge to go and eat, you're going to grab your piece of paper and you're going to mark off a tally on that sheet and sit with that feeling and wait for it to pass. For some of us, it may take an hour, it might take 2 hours, it might take 10 minutes, right? The more you sit with your feelings and your urges, the more that you practice being with a craving and not answering it with food, when you answer it with curiosity and love and compassion and just sit with yourself when you're having that moment, the better you'll get at it and the faster that will pass. And then on the other side of that craving, once you're through it, is freedom, is pride, is this feeling of success that you are tapping into emotional adulthood because you are able to manage yourself. You choose how you want to respond to your feelings. Like, you control your hands 100% of the time that pick up food. So just because you're having a feeling doesn't mean you have to react by going and like shoving food into your mouth. Like, you can have a feeling, oh, I'm craving cookies, and you can choose to just keep your hands by the side of your body and not eat, right? A lot of people tell me like it's so hard to do. It's actually harder to get up and go and like get something to eat and open stuff and then be putting, like, that requires more energy than you just like sitting there with your hands down by your side. So ongoing for this challenge, starting today, you have to say, I am committed to experiencing my craving using my sheets every time I have a craving. And for some of us, that might be 10 times a day. And I'm going to mark off 10 tallies in a day that I experienced a craving and just experienced it. I didn't eat in response to it. And what if, and hear me when I say this, you have to experience 100 cravings to never binge again? What if on the other side of you having 100 unanswered urges is you living a binge-free life? Are you prepared to do that work, knowing that on the other side is complete freedom, food freedom, emotional freedom, because you're doing this work? It's obviously going to be very challenging to sit with a craving and an urge. I realize that this is a hard sell because I'm almost telling you or trying to sell you on the idea that you have to sit with yourself when you're having a craving and really allow for that experience and allow for it to pass. But you need to use today to talk about, write about, journal about why that's a good idea. And here's why. Because I would rather experience intentional discomfort. I would rather have a craving for chocolate, hypothetically. I have this craving for chocolate. I say no to myself. That feels terrible. I'm now restless. I'm feeling unfulfilled. I'm feeling empty. I'm pouting. Like, all I can think about is chocolate. That's all that I want. And this feels terrible. It's very uncomfortable. I would rather experience that as a choice on purpose than reacting to my craving, going and eating all of the chocolate, and then physically, mentally, emotionally feeling discomfort anyway, because I'm physically going to be bloated and feeling sick. Mentally, I'm going to be frustrated, feeling guilt and shame. So if you're going to experience the discomfort either way, wouldn't you rather be the adult and in control and choose to manage this emotion, manage this feeling, versus eating all of the things and then experiencing it anyway as like a result of your bad decision? Does that make sense? So for this challenge, it's all about empowerment and being willing to say, I am going to experience 100 urges in order to break up with binging. I'm going to experience 150 urges to break up with binging. I want you to declare and decide what that number is, because it is literally your currency that you need to pay to break up with binging. is to be with your urge, knowing that you're not going to die. I was actually coaching a client the other day. I'm going to give you this analogy before I wrap up. And I was sharing with her like what an urge is like, what a craving is like. Because for a lot of us, we think that we have to get rid of the urge or the craving as if that's the problem. But what I'm hoping you're gathering from this video is that the urge and the craving in and of itself isn't the problem. Your reaction to the problem, which is your choice, which you control, is what creates the problem. And so having the craving and the urge is normal. And the analogy that I gave my client, which she found was super helpful, was I said, you know how on, Thanksgiving or Christmas, we have these family get-togethers and we have that one family member, let's say Auntie Karen, who shows up and we just aren't really fond of her. She's very aggressive and loud and opinionated, and she's just a lot to handle. She's gonna show up, she's gonna sit at the table, she's gonna be running her mouth, and we can't like wish that she won't come or shut the door so she doesn't come or shut her out. Like, she's family, she's gonna show up, she's gonna be there, we're gonna put a smile on our face and tolerate her, and then she's gonna leave. I want you to think of your craving or your urge as your Auntie Karen, who shows up on a daily basis and hangs around and is annoying and loud and opinionated and there. And we can't like shoo her or kick her out. She's gonna be there. We have to put on a brave face and smile and be with her. But we do that because that's the work that we have to do. That's the love that we have to give. That's the manners, how being polite, all of the things. And then she's gonna leave. So think about your urge and your craving the same way. You've got this annoying, irritating feeling that's going to be there, and you're going to just sit with it and embrace it and do the work, knowing that it's going to leave. Knowing that it's gonna leave. Okay, so how many urges are you willing to sit through? 50, 100, 150? You decide. For me, it was 200. That's the amount that I committed to experiencing. Changed my life when I felt 200 urges. Changed my life. And in order to complete this challenge, if you've been doing all 7 days, I want you to like this video right here and go ahead and to get your entry to win my Break Up with Binging course, which is what this whole 7-day challenge has been about. I want to reward you gals who are showing that you are open to the help, you're ready for the help. That's exactly what I want to do for you, and what my course is going to just completely change your life. Send me a DM and say, I am ready to break up with binging. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick 2 winners who send me DMs to start my course to completely change your life. Okay, friends, congratulations. Thanks for hanging with me all week and doing these challenges. I'd also love your feedback. So if you want to post in our group, out of all of the 7 days, something that stood out to you. What day was the most powerful? What was an aha or something that was just life-changing for you? Any feedback that you can give and share in the community for other gals to be inspired and learn from. I would love that. But to enter, go ahead and send me a DM. I'm ready to break up with binging. Cheers to you, friend. Bye.